Welcome to Bachelor Party. We are not talking about The Bachelor today. Much more pressing news. We need to discuss the newest season of Selling Sunset on Netflix. And to do so, I brought in a true Los Angeles real estate expert, my friend, my boss's wife, Kari Simmons. Hi, Kari.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Which part?
Hi, Juliet. I don't know. I don't know how real estate expert I am, but I think I know a little bit. I spend enough time on Redfin. That's all I can say.
God. You definitely, I know that you know a lot about real estate. You're selling yourself short, but it's okay. You're gonna show it off over the course of this podcast.
Okay, we'll see.
Kari, how many episodes of Selling Sunset have you watched in the last week?
Well, I think there are 8 episodes in each season, so I guess 24, if I did my math correctly.
So you've just binged Selling Sunset.
I literally just binged it. Yeah. I finished the last 2 like an hour and a half ago.
I think it's a show best consumed in that fashion. Like it's not one you want to watch week over week. Like it's really good to sit down, bang out like 4 or 5.
Agreed. 100%.
In a weird way, it's like super addictive, but it's also kind of slow. Like in season 1, like what even happened?
Nothing, but they sold some houses. It was kind of the whole setup, right?
Yeah.
It was like, this is, Christine, this is Maya, we're learning about the characters. That's literally all we learned.
Right. And in season 1, I'm just curious, like, who were you like, oh, this is my favorite?
It started with Heather, actually.
She was cute.
Until I realized she was like kind of part of the evil 4. So I think Chrishell it was like Mary, who's like the Carrie of the show to me.
Sure.
And Chrishell is like, I feel like she's very genuine. And yeah, I really like her. So
I like her too. Mary, let's just talk about Mary for a minute. I just have so many questions about her. And like, I guess my number one question is like, what if you knew someone who was dating someone basically the same age as her son when they were like 4 years apart? I think her son is 23 and her now husband is like 27. How are you supposed to respond to that? Like, what would you do?
Good for you. How'd you do that? Does he make any money? These are all things that Chrishell brought up, right? This was the big fight at the beginning in the first season. Like how, she was just posing questions about like, okay, so is this guy like, she got a moissanite ring. Is that what it's called? Moissanite?
So embarrassing. It's like not, it doesn't matter that he couldn't afford a diamond, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, it's fine. Just don't give her like a ruby. Give her something less expensive, but don't give one that looks like a diamond that's not a diamond. Like
a fake diamond is not acceptable, but no diamond is fine. You just do something else. So embarrassing. I'm curious. Would you hire Jason or Brett to be your broker? Like, would you ever trust them?
God, it depends on where my real estate was. I mean, in Hancock Park, no way.
No way.
But if I were in the Hollywood Hills, maybe, because it's, that's their niche.
Do you believe that they're good at real estate though? I
don't know. It sounds like they might be okay at developing real estate.
Yeah. Better developers.
And that's what they're good at. And like they just happen to get lucky and get these great listings because either they've developed part of it or they use their concierge service to help. But it's really, I don't know if the show is helping them sell. I don't really know much about what their success was like before the show happened. I'd be curious to know about that. Like, were they really successful?
I think I looked into it. They both started out as lawyers. So I come from a lawyer family, so I have bias. I was about to say, like, they started as lawyers, so they were smart. I actually don't know if that's true, but they did have like a significant background like outside of just real estate. And then they transitioned to doing this like brokerage or whatever. But like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know where these people have come from. However, I will say after I watched the show, I felt like I started seeing Oppenheim Group like ads, like and like sales around LA a little bit more.
My only thing is I don't know, not to be a snob or anything, but I don't really hire people that wear heels that are men.
My bigger problem is the lack of socks. No socks.
Oh, that's bad too.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
It's like, there's just, I don't know. I'm just not into men in boots. There's something about that. But anyway.
A few other red flags with them. Jason living in a condo. Like he has all of his options. He's in real estate all the time.
Yeah.
And he opts for a condo. Like, what is that?
You got me. I mean, it's not even like that great a condo. Like, yeah, you've got these great views, but then what else do you have to offer? Like, you don't have a wonderful swimming pool to look out at. You have like all these options in LA. You have views, you have zero edge pools, you have like, you could be at the beach, you could be anywhere. Why would you choose to be in a building?
I don't know.
In a smaller building. I don't get it.
I don't either. I think there's some people, a condo in LA makes a lot of sense. Like if you're older and you don't want to like deal with stairs, or like if you have moved there after, like, you know, when your kids are grown up. Like there's a few reasons to like live in Century City. If you don't want
maintenance, you know, and you want some kind of security, you're really worried about security. But it's not like he's living in like the, you know, the worst part of like East LA or something. He's in the middle of the Sunset Strip somewhere, right?
Yeah, so it's just super duper weird. It also seemed like a very like didn't actually know what the Sunset Strip is type of move. I once watched an episode of House Hunters where some guy moved from, I think, Hong Kong, and he was like, I just want to be close to the nightlife, and so he would live like where Jason lived.
Yeah, that's just, and the whole thing about the women. Like what women? They it seems like they get a lot of really, really good looking women, and it's like, okay, that interests
like
me.
it.
It seems like it.
Any evidence though?
All the girls in the office talk about it like that. You know, this is, you know, they're ladies' men, and he'll never settle down, and he just likes to have sex with women. Like, you know, they always allude to like, it's just sex. It's not right, but it's I don't know. And then of course he dated Mary, so that there's some evidence that he actually dated and slept and lived with the woman. So
I cannot imagine Jason and Mary dating. Like I can't picture it.
No way. Is she taller than him?
Definitely. Although who knows? These women wear the highest heels I've ever seen.
I can't even believe the things that they wear and how they do it. Like I really like respect a lot of their clothing choices just because it's so uncomfortable looking. And I'm like, I don't know how anybody dresses that uncomfortably and goes on with life.
That's one of the reasons why I liked Heather, is like her clothes were semi-normal. Like I couldn't wear them, but like I could imagine a person wearing them outside of just like Heather.
She'll wear pant outfits, and like it won't look totally, her shoes will sometimes be uncomfortable, but you're right. She was like, and I also, Amanza sometimes has good, like easy Zadig style. That's what I call her. She's all Zadig. She's like their label. Yeah, she is. She wears like the cool architectural tops that I can never pull off.
Oh no, me neither. But she looks really hip in them. I think she's gorgeous. She's
the prettiest one, I think.
Yes, she also is, to me, the most natural looking, which I
totally
think contributes to it. Her and Maya. I also love Maya.
Yeah, Maya's cool. I like her dismissiveness, her like aloof like accent. She's a very. I'd like to be friends with her.
Me too.
And she also straddles the line between the two groups of girls.
Two cliques, yeah.
Yeah.
Maya, one of my favorite things about her, blatantly does not live in Los Angeles. I mean, it's so funny. She lives in Miami. And like, how did she end up on this show?
Yeah, that part is interesting. It's like, did she live in LA first and then go to Miami? Or is she, that part I don't understand.
My guess is she started out in LA. She probably, the father of her child probably moved to Miami. So she went with him, but like got the opportunity to do the show and like had to stay behind, and clearly just comes back for shooting, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. I think it is too. And, you know, of course we had the cliffhanger at the end. Is she ever going to come back to the firm, or is she going to start her own thing? Or sounds like no.
The issue with Maya is that if she were Christine, and Christine was like, I'm moving to Miami, of course they would do a spinoff. Of course they would open a brokerage. But Maya's too boring. So there's no spinoff potential.
There's no spinoff potential. You're right.
No.
Christine is really like one of the most polarizing characters I've seen on any reality show in a long time.
Where do you stand on her?
I've never hated and liked someone so much. Like I like to watch her and see whatever she's doing, to whatever weird outfit she's wearing, the crazy things that go through her mind that she thinks is okay, like the way she treats her other people around her, everything about her, like her ideas of what a party is, her wedding dress in black. Like she's like no one I've ever, but at the same, so she's hateful in the way she treats people, but at the same time, I can't stop looking. She's a car crash.
I'm afraid of Christine. If I encountered her in the wild, I would be really intimidated. Like, no joke. I really would be.
Yeah, me too.
Like, there's a type of like female confidence that's really intimidating. And she definitely has it.
Yeah.
She's also terrifying. You know, I support her, but I support her being confident. But like, I don't want to know her. I want to go back to the black wedding dress for a second.
Yes.
I support a non-traditional wedding dress for sure. Like, good idea. Same. You know, mix it up. But why black? You can wear a black ball gown to so many events, you know? Like there's so many opportunities.
Because she's goth. She's proving that this was the whole thing with her wedding cake. It was black with blood feathers, blood red. I mean, it was the most bizarre thing, but that's who she is. She knows who she is and she puts it out there and she calls herself goth, right? Like, or that's what she wanted out of that theme. Her wedding was a theme. Like it was funny. They were all sitting at, you know, poor Chrishell, and they're talking about Chrishell, and they were talking about the wedding coming up, and she was like, "You guys just all have to see my cake." It had nothing to do with like her getting married. It's not exciting for her that she's getting married. It was all about her cake. It's all about like her presentation of whatever she's doing at the time.
When do you think she'll be getting divorced?
Oh God, I can't imagine it lasting long. Maybe by the next season.
I was going to say 18 months max. I hope she has.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see her like. You know, by the time it might be announced on Instagram or TMZ or one of these places, right? Like, I don't think
when she gets divorced, no one will care nearly as much as when Chrishell got divorced, and she'll probably be really pissed off about that. She probably wanted to have a TV wedding so people would care when she got divorced because it's obviously inevitable.
Very true. Very true.
She dropped in several times that she had been engaged before, like, and to multiple people, which I also thought was really funny. I was like,
you're right. She did bring that up quite a few times.
Yeah, like we get it. This is the one. Okay.
I was just thinking about the Chrishell and the fight they were having with not Chrishell, but with Heather, and how, you know, Davina. I hate Davina too. Obviously, who likes Davina? Does anyone like Davina? Okay,
no.
So Davina is, for those of you who might not know, is another evil shrew who never smiles or has any kind of happiness in any way about her. And they were kind of going off on Heather about how she definitely hires people, like she has a publicist to come see, you know, her and Tarek, who she's married to, or now she is, but you know, they were engaged or whatever at the time. And they had an Us magazine thing, and she had said something about Chrishell, who had gotten divorced, but it was fed her like, yeah, guess what? We're not together anymore through TMZ, right?
Yeah.
And so this girl is just trying to say, like, you know, they just threw a question at me, like, you know, talking to how I'm supporting Chrishell. And these two are going off on her about how like she's trying to get all this publicity, and they're calling people to tell people to come and show up wherever they are, like when she's making cookies or whatever she's doing. And she's like, that's not true. Like, I'm not doing that. And these two are like going off on this poor girl. And now I've lost my train of thought. What was I getting to, Juliet?
Well, you brought us to an important place, which is let's talk about Chrishell. So Chrishell, she was like supposed to be the star of the season 1. They put her at the forefront. I think because she was married to Justin Hartley. Like, was there any other reason for Chrishell to be the star in season 1?
No other reason.
Yeah, she was, and I guess they could like build a storyline around her like being new and like trying to like get into the game, and she's still learning. And we should just say the creator of the show is named Adam DeVello, and if you felt like it was similar to The Hills, it's because he also created The Hills.
It's totally like The Hills, and yes, I did notice that. So yes,
and that. I think we both love that it's like The Hills. This is show.
It's The Hills for older people.
Hills for older people with real
and
estate.
More successful with real jobs, somewhat. Yeah.
More on that in a second. But so Chrishell was clearly the star of season 1, and as you're like, okay, she's got a famous husband. She was trying to be an actress. Like, I get it. You know, give her a reality show. Season 2, she kind of like fades back a little bit, and it becomes more about Christine and her fighting with people and with Chrishell, and like some Mary's wedding or whatever. It was more about the group and less focus on like Chrishell's new career. And then if I hadn't like read about it, and I remember when Justin Hartley and Chrishell got separated, it was like, because it was like right after an award show that they had attended together. I would have been really surprised that then the back half of the season became about Chrishell's divorce. I was just like, wait, what? Like all of a sudden the show changed for probably for worse for Chrishell's life, better for the program. Totally. And you're like, oh, now we're just watching a show about like a sad reality TV divorce. And it was riveting, wasn't it?
It was riveting. Yes. It's just so, it's like everything you've ever imagined about a Hollywood breakup, right? Especially when it comes with like she found out 45 minutes before it was announced on TMZ. Like she was completely blindsided, apparently. But although now I've done some digging and it sounds like he was with someone else.
Well, yes. So it sounds like he was cheating on her. So I believe Chrishell for the most part.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine. I mean, they're bad people, so they're probably not thinking this way. But can you imagine being Davina and Christine and like having to watch back you questioning if she was telling the truth or not, and then seeing how much pain she was in? Like, what? Truly bad people.
I don't think they're at all. I don't think they have any empathy whatsoever. Like, I really still think they're probably watching it and thinking, God, like she, like all of this bullshit with her took all the time away from me.
Yeah.
And like Davina has nothing going on at all. Like what was her storyline? I don't even know why she's on the show other than
I don't know why either.
That it only to bring on the guy that Bill kept saying, this is the guy that is putting the bodies in the pool. Like, you know, the weird, what's his name? Adnan.
Yeah.
Adnan.
Yeah.
But
that house still has not sold.
Surprising.
Yeah, I know. Shocking.
For in the middle of the valley, right? Wasn't it at the base of the hill or something? Right? And it's like Coldwater Canyon, no views. Like,
no, thank you.
No,
75 million in the valley. It's absolute no.
Thanks.
There's a lot that let's go back to Chrishell for a second. We'll get into some of the other stuff. So I thought the most riveting scene of the entire season, the whole show, was her in the 4 seasons, like telling Mary about everything. And like clearly had put on makeup for the shoot, but was like crying a lot. And I was impressed that she could afford to go to the 4 seasons on short notice like that. But I guess Justin Hartley was paying for it. 4 seasons. Not cheap.
Not a cheap hotel. No.
And it's nice there. They've got, I've never stayed there, but like I've had friends who have and have seen the rooms, but like it's a pretty good place to hole up if you've just gotten divorced or whatever.
It's a place I'd be happy to hole up in for sure.
I didn't really know like how divorce worked. I felt like I learned a lot from Chrishell explaining what happened to Mary, and the phrase like, and then we were filed. I had never heard that before. Like I always thought it was like he filed or I filed. She kept saying we were filed. Have you heard that before?
No. I honestly don't know a lot about divorce either. So, I mean, that's all I know. The filing part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was like very strange. And then, I don't know, like I love reading TMZ and The Blast. But then like you watch shows like this with Chrishell and she's so upset. And you're like, God, you people who just like, just go through all of the records of people like filing shit to find out what's happening with celebrities. Like that's pretty terrible.
It's evil. But people do that with real estate also. Like they search to see who's bought what, and then they put 2 and 2 together, and it's kind of unfair. But
it is.
I guess that's what happens when you are you're in the public eye, though, and it's part of being in the public eye is you have no choice.
Yeah, it came out today that Meghan and Harry moved to Montecito.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah, that's definitely right for them.
Totally.
It's kind of like living in Windsor. It's like makes a lot of sense.
Far enough away. Yeah.
Other celebrities to like also hang out with, so they can like have some friends and whatnot.
Like Oprah and they've got a lot of people out there.
Ellen, you know, a lot of people hate Ellen, so a lot of people hate Meghan. So maybe they can be friends.
Buddies.
They can be friends. Just
I like it.
Just throwing it out there. I would pay a lot of money to watch a real estate special on Harry and Meghan picking a house.
I would pay anything to see anything that they do. Like really, like I don't know why they haven't started some sort of reality show already.
I know. It's like such
even,
a great
even
point.
Small. Like, why not something little that they do? Like, just, you know, we're like everyone else and just them walking places and what they're doing during COVID. And I don't know. Like, just little, I definitely want to see that on Netflix or something.
Oh, me too. It's a great point. I don't know why they aren't just monetize your life, guys. They need money because they got to pay for everything now.
Right.
Security. Anyway, back to Chrishell. And so And then she goes to the wedding. She did this whole thing for the Los Angeles Times, like kind of like walking through. I think she was worried that it was going to seem fake, that everything that she put on the show, because it does. the show has a sheen to it that doesn't quite feel real. And
you think? That's what I kept saying to Bill. I'm like, especially with Christine, I'm like, I think they like really load that camera up with white when she goes on, like, because she's so blonde and platinum as it is. And then they put all the, like, she just looks so glamorous.
What do you think her hair extensions are like?
Oh my, she just wears a lot of like what I call secret hair. Like, I think it's
like a bump kind of thing. Or
yeah.
Like, giving it...
like, I think she just decides to throw in the longer ponytail one day and the shorter one the next. And I mean, can you imagine? Wonder if she just has like a little balding, like tiny little hairs coming out of her head at the end of the day.
I know. I was just wondering, like, what does she look like without makeup and without the hair? Like,
yeah.
I bet she can walk down the street and be, not that people are like dying to talk to her, but she's probably completely unrecognizable.
Yeah. You know what I want to know is like the braiding on these girls. They have like these amazing braids in their hair. And it's like, I would love for someone to come braid my hair before I walked out the door. It seems like they're just spending all their time in hair salons and stuff, right? Like getting dolled up before they come. And
I was going to say, Amanda's probably always late because she's having someone come over to do her hair.
Yeah, because she has all kinds of crazy braids and things going on, right?
And and like there's no way she could do that herself, even if she's really talented. So and I'm sure they come to her house, and that's why she's always late. But I will say, like,
she also has 2 kids, and no one else does in that whole group, right? Other than the Maya, who somehow has 2 kids and flies back and forth from Miami to California.
I know, like, so much just does not make sense at all.
I'm Justin Charity.
And I'm Micah Peters.
And this is Sound Only.
It's not an anime podcast, but we're going to be talking about music. We're going to be talking about video games. We're going to be talking about strange stuff from the dark corners of the internet that piques our interest.
We're excited. We're super excited. I'm Justin Charity.
And I'm Micah Peters.
And this is Sound Only. We're back. Catch us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Let's go.
But I think that's why Chrishell did a lot of press around this, like trying to explain to people that like what you're seeing really is my divorce. Plus, like she had to wait a long time to say anything because I think she had to save it for the show. So her divorce came out like 8 or 9 months ago, and now she's finally able to address it. But to your point, it seems like Justin Hartley cheated on her with a different woman who he's now dating. That seems to be what's going around. And apparently Blind Gossip, which is a website I read frequently, had a rumor or like had an item that they've like now confirmed to be true that he accused her of cheating to almost and like was like gaslighting her, though she wasn't. But like because he was doing it, and
like
I guess,
that was the fight that they might have had or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's so slimy.
I know. He seems like
I'm so on
asshole.
Team Chrishell. Like
me too. I like
line
her.
Me up. She's just very genuine. So
I don't think I'd want to spend time with her, but like but she's like a nice person.
Yeah. Well, her motivations are good in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, she does the charitable things and, she's come from nothing and it really seems like she has. And when she went back to Indiana, it seemed like her St. Louis. Her family seemed like really genuine and nice. And it just, to me, she seems like a solid human being, even though I agree. I wouldn't want to be best buddies with her or anything. But
yeah. And I think she has the worst fashion of everyone on the show.
Oh, her fashion's very Valley. That's why it worked out so well, though. That's what Bill and I were talking about. I'm like, I love all the things she comes in with is like, just, it's so like, she's finely dressed for Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
Like she's
so hot. Just think about Ventura Boulevard in August. So hot. I couldn't deal with it. I was there in July and I was just like, nope, this is too hot for me. I have time to go back on the other side of the hill. That's the real problem for me at the Valley is the heat. It's not anything else.
Yeah, it's really easy to get. I actually love the Valley for the ease of getting around and doing things. But you're right. Once you hit like July, you don't want to go anywhere near there.
No, I can't handle it. But good luck to Chrishell. Yeah. Now we know she moved to the Hollywood Hills. It's just so funny how the show flipped and it started out about her, it moved away, and like now it's back to being about her again. And I just think it's kind of funny.
Right. Let's talk about Mary's favoritism.
Oh my God. I would love to. I want to talk about Mary and I want to talk about Jason. So there's no evidence that anyone's actually good at their jobs. So like we don't even know why Mary's getting these listings.
Right. Except for she's been friends with Jason for 15 years. We know that.
Yes. And he's in love with her, allegedly.
And he obviously is in love with her. So It's like he keeps throwing her bones, and we don't even know if she's selling these on her own. Like she's literally like walking through the house being like, yeah, because you know how much entails with buying real estate. It's not easy. Like you have to do a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of number crunching and a lot of things you have to be able to throw out at any time, right? When you're walking through a house, and you never hear any of those things when these girls are, the most we ever hear is like, okay, well, he's going to give you 2.1 and, I know the asking is 2.4. What do you think? That's all they ever do. So,
right.
Yeah, God knows if she actually does anything and if this is just but they all work there, right?
Yeah. I was wondering, like, what are the margins they're making? Because it seems like they spend a lot. Like, a $100,000 commission is amazing, or 150, whatever it is. But it seems like they put a lot into like the marketing and like doing like these elaborate open houses.
Right.
And so I'm just like, and then a portion of it, no matter what, goes to Jason and Brett because it's their brokerage. So
yeah.
What are the margins? Like, they're not as good as they make it seem. Like, I feel like they try to make it seem like really high end and luxury. But this is one thing I want to mention. The thing that I was like, wait, this is like a bizarro world, is when coming off the fight between Jason and Davina about like the $75 million house and how he hadn't. And then she was like, well, you haven't sold the $44 million house, like Hillside or whatever. And then one episode later, he's like, I finally sold it for $34 million. And it's like, okay, you sold it, but for like 10
million under asking.
Yeah. So like, why are we congratulating
I think
you?
I missed that. Yeah.
That was bizarre.
Yeah. I don't think I caught that. I think I thought it, whatever. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to the numbers, but that's pretty fascinating. You know what they should do is show this is how much the house is. This is how much we got. The commission would be this, but we have to subtract the $30,000 we did on marketing, the overhead in the bill, like just so we know how much they make. I would like that.
I know. I want a full financial breakdown, and I also would like an annual report. Like, tell me who sold what, when, over the course of a year, because I don't buy a lot of it. I don't know that they're actually. I mean, I know that sounds obvious just based on the way the show is, and like people ragged on the hills for being like fake or whatnot, but. I specifically want to know about the finances and how it works.
I would love that too, Juliet. Maybe, if you ask, they'll deliver. You seem to have some influence in these areas.
I'll try. So back to Mary. I don't know why the only reason why she's favorited is because they dated and he's still in love with her. How did you feel about the women responding to it?
Well, I mean, that it was just so legitimate. And I would actually get angry myself, as much as I think Mary is actually fine. I don't mind her. I think her character, her personality,
she grew on me.
Decent. Yeah. Like nothing about her really bothers me, and I'm fine with the French boy toy. I'm okay with all of it. So
I admire that for sure.
I kind of admire it, I have to say. I mean, although my mother-in-law and Bill both think that he's gay, but I'm like, no, he's French.
Yeah, he's French.
But anyway, like, what was the question again?
I just was wondering how you felt about her in general.
Yeah.
And her face though upsets me. That's what's hard.
Sometimes her faces upset me. Like her different makeup layers. Like sometimes she'll be less makeup. Yeah, her lips and sometimes they're a little too big here. Like she's gotten some injections and she doesn't need that stuff. Yeah.
She just seems like if she were not in Los Angeles and didn't like try to look this way, she would just be like a really nice, normal person. I think so. But then she's like, gets to West Hollywood and transforms into this agent of Selling Sunset. It's just kind of funny. It's just TV look. She looks like she for TV.
Getting back, I really do think that the girls all have a good reason to be angry that she's thrown all the bones. It's unfair. And Maya, who is very dedicated because she's flying back and forth from, Miami, is like, well, why, he shows her like these development jobs and stuff. And he's given her he's throwing her some bones, but really like no one gets thrown the $8 million, $10 million house bone. They all get here's a $3.4 million house. Here's a $2.6 million house. It's never the level at which Mary lays, and it's not fair.
Right. And it's like, maybe you guys will work up to it. It's weird, especially when I learned that Davina had the broker's license that no one else has.
Right. See, that's her own fault, though, Davina.
Yeah. But Davina, what are you doing there? What happened to Davina? Why is she such a miserable person?
You can ask the same about Christine. Like both of them have some damage going on in their lives, but Davina definitely is. I don't know. She had a bad childhood. Was she ugly when she was younger?
She may have been.
Maybe.
It takes also a real special kind of adult to like talk all of this shit to the people's faces and then like still interact with them.
That's true. I respect her for that. For like not saying what she believes in. Like, yeah, that's all right. Because I'm definitely in the Chrishell camp of like, I try like someone like Christine. I'd be cordial to the point where I'm like, I'm walking away now. And
just trying to be nice.
Yeah. But that's I'm not anyone that likes conflict, so I get it.
I just think that she's inexplicable. She was so mean about Chrishell. It's like mystifying.
Yeah.
But
no,
whatever.
She's an evil shrew.
Let's discuss Heather.
Yes.
Her boyfriend journey is really something. From the hockey player in like some cold European country to Tarek El Moussa, who is like famous already, and their Instagram life together is pretty funny.
Okay, so was she driving his Bentley?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of, I was like, oh wow, like a Bentley. Like that was not
definitely.
That was a little unexpected because that's like a Christine move, but okay.
I don't quite understand the success of Christina and Tarek El Moussa, but I never really watched their HGTV stuff. But like, I'm sure Heather thinks that they can have some kind of like home show together since she's already on one. He's already been on one. It's like definitely a good business move for her.
It would be, I suppose. Yeah, she could be the real estate agent, and I don't know. He could. Isn't that already a show like Flipped or Keep or Love It or Leave It or whatever?
Well, that's what the Tarek El Moussa and Christina El Moussa did together. I think was Flip or Flop.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I don't even know. I
think that was their show. Yeah, they're like all in the HGTV space together.
Okay.
It's definitely what she's going for. I also I found it really funny when she was like asking to get engaged on TV. And I believe she now is engaged. But like that's just never a good look. I mean, it's gonna happen or it's not.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really like Heather. For some reason I feel guilty talking about her.
Oh my God. She's not going to listen. Don't worry.
So she won't. But I think her personality is like very like, she's also a straddle the line camp a little bit. She's a little bit of one of Christine's minions, but at the same time, I just think she's more of the more level-headed people on the show. But you're right. She was a little crazy over the marriage. She was.
I like when she had to work with Amanza. The concierge service thing, something I'd never heard of. Have you heard of that?
No, but I would love it. I think it's a great thing.
It's a good idea. It's smart.
Yeah. Especially if you're selling your house. Like I think that's a big business to have. Like I know designers that should just do that.
Yeah, I would never want to take care of their repairs. I'd be like, great, someone else do it for me and stage it and everything. Selling your house just seems so expensive. I just all the stuff that goes into it.
And stressful.
I didn't realize. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, it's a stressful process. And I think a lot of people end up, finding a house they love, and then it's contingent on selling their current home, or like they move into the house they love and their current home sits for 6 months to a year. That's not good.
Like many of the people on this show. Do you like the houses that they show in general?
I can't say I'm in love with many of them. The one house that I really loved was the one that Mary got married in.
Oh yeah, that was
like
nice.
That would be my kind of house. But like I'm not a hills person. I always feel like if I'm in the hills, like I could be left for dead. Like God knows if there's an earthquake, no one will ever find me again. So
prepare your earthquake kits.
Yeah, if you're in the hills, have a plan. Have an evacuation plan.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't like them because they're so like square. So they're all of the homes built in LA the last 10 years like seem to be one of two things. One is like the modern farmhouse, which they have more in the valley that Chrishell is selling, which I do like, but now it's like so ubiquitous and just there's
ubiquitous.
Nothing unique about it. It's just like, okay, we get it. You all have the same house. You all live in the valley. You might have been on reality TV because I don't know if you watch Vanderpump Rules, but all of those people moved into like identical houses. They all have
matching homes. No, I've seen that. Yeah. No, I hate that style, actually. That's also the same for like Manhattan Beach and Redondo Beach. They have a lot of those. It's like that same architect. The houses that I love are the ones that are like it's like a lot of wood and like natural, like, you know, greenery outside, but like the big glass windows and wood, like that modern look. But it feels very like California contemporary, but it's not, you know that vibe.
So I love a craftsman house, and I think what you're describing is like kind of like the California modern craftsman type of thing.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I really like those too, but they don't show any of those on this show because that's not like what people want in the Hollywood Hills right now. And it's not like what developers are building. They build these like really big boxy houses that are very like square, like literally. And I don't know, it's just like they squeeze a pool in even if the backyard can't really take it. And they always have collapsible doors that like go for like indoor, outdoor living. I don't know. It's just like a very like boring style to me that's very showy. And I think it's kind of funny because I don't like any of the houses they're trying to get rid of on the show.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that they're actually playing into what they all are. And it's like they're bachelors and bachelorettes. They're really, these homes that are up in those parts of the hills are typically not for families.
Yeah.
You know, not many families want to live right above the Sunset Strip. And it's not like you're walking strollers down those freaking scary, like windy streets. And so.
Also extremely inconvenient because you can't get over to the valley from there. Like you have to come down and back around, and there's not close to any freeways. So if you're in the Hollywood Hills, you're just kind of like stuck there and like going to Hollywood, West Hollywood, and like that's it. And so it's like a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment. You're right.
It's not even like if you lived in like Beechwood or Bronson Canyon a little bit to the east, you have way more available to you. But really, where they are above the Sunset Strip is kind of like a no man's land. It's like where you go, like because you know someone who's having a party.
Right. I've only really ever been there for like ESPY parties or, you know, after some kind of weird party where like they blindfold you and throw you in a truck, and then you wake up and you're like at this party and you're like, oh, here I am. And like it looks like Versailles, and you're looking out, but there's nothing there other than like these crazy boxy houses that have like pools around the outside. And I'm not a big pool person, so like forcing a pool into a backyard, there's not really space for it. I'm just not into. I think it's just a lot of people's idea of like peace and serenity, don't you? Like you think like a water feature always calms certain people down. I kind of like water. I like having a pool or some kind of water feature, but you're right. The forced ones make no sense. It's like, how far can you swim in that thing?
Yeah. and then you're like, oh, you just have a plunge pool, basically. And I'm like, well, that's kind of embarrassing. I don't know. It seems like Jason and Brett, and for the seasons going forward, like let's move away from selling the same house over and over again. And like they should just lean into their other business ideas. They seem like great entrepreneurs, actually. Like the concierge service is smart. They do seem like pretty decent developers. Like they should become more like CEOs, like placing these women in different parts of their business and whomever else. Just for the record, other people work at the Oppenheim Group, but they're just not on the show.
Is that true? Okay.
Yes. Other people work
I was
there.
going to say, like, who's doing the accounting? It's not Brett and Jason. Okay.
No, they have other people. So, like, when they show, like, team meetings, like, those are, like, only a few people.
Okay,
and so,
that makes sense. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, because some real estate offices have those little satellite offices. So I assumed it was, like, a satellite office. But
every time I drive past it, I look in the window to see if I can see anyone. It's, like, always closed.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So they just open for those meetings then.
Yeah, basically. It's like right by like Sweet Green and Equinox on Sunset, basically.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly
Sunset Plaza.
Where it is.
Yeah. It's like right a great H&M right there. It's like
there's a lot of little petite, some kind of like little French restaurants. And
yes, exactly.
Cute little things. Yeah.
It's right in the middle. How would you rate this against other reality shows you've really enjoyed in the past?
Oh, it's like at the very top. I just can't even. It's like, you know, it's rivals the Bachelor franchise for me, just because the drama is there. It really is.
It's hard to believe they haven't done this in the past.
I agree.
Why hasn't there been a Hills real estate show before? Like it's so obvious. It's genius. I'm happy to have it now.
I feel like they could expand it elsewhere. Like, you know, have one in Redondo Beach or Manhattan Beach or whatever. Have one in
Miami does make a lot of sense. They need to send someone else there. Like send Christine there with Maya and they can do it together.
It could happen, right?
Because you need people with like showy, gaudy taste.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think you get that in Miami.
You get that in Miami without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, based on my perception, I haven't been there in a long time.
Amanza would be good for Miami too, though, because she's
totally.
She's got that.
I love her. She's
style.
like,
she's the best.
She seems very fun. She's my number one pick to go to a party with. Would definitely be her
for sure. She's really can go toe to toe with Christine, and that's that's definitely not an easy thing to do. But I would definitely shy away and run away from someone like that, and she just like tells it like it is. She's not afraid.
I don't know how Christine got this way, and Christine has never really she has no wins. I'm just like, what do you have in your favor to be acting like this? Like, yeah, she sold some houses, but again, what's so good about Christine?
She's got whales in her Rolodex. That's what she says.
I know. And then when they brought her in for her contacts, she didn't even help. She couldn't even make a difference. So why are we celebrating Christine? I'm not trying to tear her down, but I'm just asking questions that seem relevant to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've got very good points. I just think that, Christine is really here for me to see all her various pop star outfits and, critique them and look at them and appreciate her evil. And that's what she's there for. She's
like Lady Gaga, but
mixed with Dee Snider, mixed with Daryl Hannah, mixed with...
Dee Snider is a great call. That is definitely her celebrity comp. If I saw her on the street, I'd run in another direction.
Yeah.
Kari, thank you so much for breaking down this show with me.
Thank you for introducing this great show to me. I appreciate it. You too.
I'm just sorry it took me so long. It took me 3 seasons to get you guys to watch it.
I am too, and I feel like you've been holding out. So whatever else you have for me, I'm ready and willing. I'm nowhere to go.
I'll text you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you all so much for listening. Back on Monday.